PNG becomes 33rd country to join Global End Violence Partnership. Remote hula school gets support. And awards up for grabs tonight.
This is National EMTV News with Dennis Orere.
Hello and welcome. This is Saturday's news. Papua New Guinea has become the 33rd pathfinding country to join the Global End Violence Partnership. This shows the government's commitment to end all forms of violence in the country. Community Development, Youth and Religion Minister Wake Goi made this announcement yesterday.
Community Development Minister Wake Goi made this announcement following the launch of Primero, an online information system that aimed to protect vulnerable children and women. PNG becoming a pathfinding country now signifies the government's commitment to end all forms of violence against children. And PNG is the 33rd country to join this global partnership and the first in the Pacific.
As of February 2021, the End Violence Partnership has 33 faith-finding countries. Papua New Guinea is the 33rd country in the world and the first one in the Pacific region to join this network, setting a precedent and example of other Pacific nations.
Papua New Guinea is home to over 3.8 million children, a population that makes up 52% of the country. With most of these children experiencing some form of violence at home, this commitment is essential in ensuring children are protected. Child and Family Services Director Simon Yanis says violence against children is a serious health and social issue with immediate and long-lasting health, physical and social consequences on children, families and communities. Although comprehensive data in PNG is scarce, violence against children is widely tolerated, and children are both primary victims of violence and witnesses of domestic violence.
The main objective of the faith finding is to raise awareness, stimulate leadership, commitment to action, and establish a standard of national violence prevention in many countries around the globe.
The End Violence Partnership will be built on other initiatives to end violence in the country. These include the establishment of a National Office of Child and Family Services, the passing of the 2015 Lookout in Pikinini Act, and the launch of the 2017 to 2027 National Child Protection Policy and other activities. The pathfinding process will be led by the Department of Community Development with support from UNICEF.
Violence Against Children Partnership was launched by the United Nations General Secretary in 2016 as a platform for collective advocacy, action and investment to end in this plague and support countries to achieve the sustainable development goals.
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
Creating a safe environment within neighborhoods has become a big need in Port Moresby with the recent increase in crime around the city. Milner Drive at Gerahu Stage 3 is one such community that has taken an initiative to make their neighborhood safe. This is their story.
A simple neighborhood with about 30 to 40 houses at Gerahu Stage 3, the Milner Drive community have started an initiative to create a safer, friendlier environment for all families living there.
Neighbors. It's because the last time our boys fight here in our streets. So for me personally, I can't just sit inside my house and this thing happen. Sometimes it's easy for us to post on Facebook, like what can our community do?
In the past weeks, news of children missing, brawls and fights, gender-based violence and crime is reaching its peak. The need to create communities where individuals feel safe and respected is a big need. Through this initiative, it gives the community a safe environment to get to know each other, to creating good friendships.
The meeting, we came up with this idea where we are neighbors. Why are we fighting each other? So we should come together as a family and a neighbor, and we create this good neighborhood and Christian principles and
learn new things.
with tie-dyeing because we had two ladies who have skills in tie-dyeing. So we started last week, and then we said we cannot continue doing tie-dyeing because it's going to be boring. So the next thing we did, like as mentioned earlier, we cleaned the field. When we cleaned the field, all the community came together, and those ones who never came out from their homes, there's one good thing that they all came out. And now we walk from one end of the street to the other. We are, we feel safe walking here, and our kids, youths, they are all with us.
As this community makes a difference in their neighborhood, they are also an example to others who can make a difference where they are for a better, safer Port Moresby.
Na mipla make him lo 5 kina tasol, pay him lo 5 kina na plant something, but you walk him close or paint him or close or some kind or plant something, but you make him. So side line ila come, you can come na line him na join him mipla na. So mipla can make him this la.
Lilian Soperakenea, National EMTV News.
Tie-dye is a skill that the young women and young girls at Milner Drive have been learning in the past 2 weeks. Stella Mundi from Milne Bay has been teaching the women how to master the art of tie-dye. The process of tie-dye typically consists of folding, twisting, crumpling fabric and binding with string or rubber bands, followed by application of dyes. Many brought their own shirts, pillowcases to practice the art. Those who have mastered the skill were able to create masterpieces that are being sold at Milner Drive for 5 kina. Police Commissioner David Manning says policing has been difficult for the men and women in blue. Speaking recently in Alotau, the head of police says logistical support and other necessary backing has been overlooked. He says this is not just the case in Alotau, but around the country. Manning says police will complete all operations in Milne Bay and allow law and order to be maintained.
It has been a long time coming, and the situation in Milne Bay is a result of years of not I wouldn't say neglect, but years of not appreciating the challenging environments that our members continue to live and work in, and the executive will be discussing with the executive to see how best we can address those policing issues here. So with Milne Bay, again, the commitment of the force is that we will continue to be a presence in the province. Despite, contrary to social media posts, the police force is not packing up and leaving Milne Bay. We're here to stay, and we'll continue to provide that much needed service to the wider community of the province.
We now cross live to our sports reporter Kila Wani for an update in tonight's 28th SP Sports Awards at the Crown Hotel in downtown Port Moresby. Hi Kila, please give our viewers what is expected to take place in tonight's event.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, good evening, viewers. We're coming to you live from Crown Hotel in the nation's capital, where the 28th SP Sports Awards is about to go live in the next hour or so. Now, with this event for this year, the event is going virtual due to the global COVID pandemic, and most of the participants will be joining online. And now the significance of this event for this year is a local former athlete coming on board as the guest speaker in this year's SP Sports Awards. Back to you, Dennis.
And that was Kila Wani at the 28th SP Sports Awards at the Crown Hotel in downtown Port Moresby. We will cross to her later on in the bulletin as well. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A primary school in Hula in the Rigo district of Central Province will now have new infrastructure to help boost their teaching and learning. The new double classrooms and a teacher's house were funded by the Rigo District Development Authority through the Ward Development Project. Rigo MP Lekwa Gure officiated at the groundbreaking ceremony yesterday, which signifies the start of this project.
This is Alan Jones Memorial Primary School in the Hood Point area of Hula Central Province. The school caters for a total of over 600 students. Over the years, they have been faced with spacing difficulties with over 40 students in a classroom. In 2018, a proposal was submitted to the Rigo District Administration requesting for a classroom and teacher's house. Following a groundbreaking ceremony at the school yesterday, a double classroom and a teacher's house will be built to help boost teaching and learning.
We have only one staff house and a double classroom was approved, which we are very happy and very excited of. And the classroom that will be built be used by the grade 7 students. The grade 7 students will be used in that classroom. And for the teacher's house, I will use one of the senior subject masters to live in that house.
Since 2019, the Rigo District Development Authority has built over 4 double classrooms with 4 teachers' houses in various schools. According to Rigo MP Lekwa Gure, these were captured in the district's 5-year development plan and cost over 300,000 kina. For Alan Jones Primary School, it was funded through the Ward Development Project. The Ward Development Project allows for all council wards to put together development proposals for the Rigo DDA to fund.
To put together their development proposals and bring them forward for the DDA to consider, and providing it aligns with our development plans and our aspirations, then they would be considered by the DDA board or District Development Authority board, and if approved, to get the necessary funding. Today, Alan Jones Primary School double classroom and a teacher's house came under the provision.
With this project set to begin, locals have been urged to work together with the school and the contractor to see this project a success. The local MP also challenged the contractor to complete this project on time and on budget.
We have a relationship with the Department of Works through the RIB or Rural Infrastructure Branch. They were the ones who did the design and the documentation, and they are the ones who will be providing the supervision as this work continues. So that's my first challenge to the contractor. Finish the job to a very high standard according to the specifications, on time and on budget.
Rayon Lakingu National, MTV News.
In his final campaign rally at Garden Hills yesterday, contesting candidate for Mosby Northwest, Segi Otio, reminded his supporters to be careful when casting their votes. With just 4 days remaining before the by-election begins, Otio was vocal about improving basic services. He is among the 40 candidates contesting the Mosby Northwest by-election.
Me like him, you vote in box 49, number 1.
The intended candidate yesterday in his final rally was vocal in carrying out basic services.
We just want to get the basics right. Basics like clean water and sanitation. Those are basics which have become human rights.
Otio says he wants to provide services which will be workable if he is declared to the Mosby Northwest seat.
They're basic and I think they're workable in that short time, and I think they're applicable to our life in the settlements and also in the suburbs.
Apart from the basic services and with his 4 policies, Otio also wants to empower the informal sector.
Through micro SME, through non-government organizations and associations. We don't want to promise people SMEs because we know that's impossible to give. But we want to help organizations, non-profit organizations such as associations and NGOs.
Podivai, National MTV News.
The New Ireland government is forging ahead in its mission to empower its local governments through the building of council chambers throughout the 10 local government areas. Earlier this week, the people of Namatanai saw the official opening of the Matalai Council Chamber. Joining the people of Matalai was New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chan, the New Ireland Administration, Provincial Executive Council members and local villagers. During the opening, ward councillors and presidents were reminded to abide by the organic law on provincial and local level governments and carry out their mandated duties. Celebrations of the opening of the Pitili Chamber Matalai local government continued late into the evening with choirs and cultural performances from all over the Namatanai LLG. The Buagong Beach House in Busamang, Morobe province is a destination that has been gaining the attention of visitors looking for a good time out of Lae. For the owner, Guring Moari, setting up the beach house was an idea inspired by extensive traveling within the country and abroad while he was working. He invested his superannuation savings into his business and now shares his beachfront with tourists both local and international.
It is a 45-minute boat ride out of Lae City to this beach house at Buagong in Busamang along Morabe's Huon Gulf coastline. Being further away from the Makam River outlet, the sea here is evidently clear, with white sandy beaches stretching along the coast. For Busamang local Guring Moari, he has opened his village to share this beauty with visitors.
People come to do birthday parties, come for a day, go, sometimes come overnight, then next day or go back.
Being someone who traveled extensively while working in the mining industry, Guring was inspired to start a guest house back home. He built this first lodge in 2013 with his savings and started getting clients in 2014. As a first-timer in this industry, he runs this business with his family. He said it's been trial and error, and ways to improve come from client feedback. He then set up solar panels for electricity and a gravity-fed water supply system allowing visitors access to running water with the use of the shower and the septic toilets. This bungalow with a balcony view of the sea is the latest addition. Guring said funding has been a constraint, and while he hopes there will be support from the provincial and tourism authorities, he said he has to do the work. Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
As our cultures are gradually dying out, there has to be measures in place to prevent culture loss. Ivan Homoko is a Hela Wigman who has been advocating the preventing of culture loss. He visited EMTV earlier this week to share his concern.
Hela Chief Ivan Homoko fronted EMTV office dressed in his traditional attire to send message to the public, the authorities and the leaders. He said our cultures are fast fading away in the face of Western ideologies and influence. He says people are caught up in today's world that they lose grip of their own cultures.
When I see Papua New Guinea, people are losing all our good traditional artifacts, like promoting tourism industry. People are not aware of their culture.
He believes the tourism industry in the country is not doing enough to preserve culture.
This country needs a culture and tourism industry. Culture is the basic foundation for promoting tourism industry in Papua New Guinea. As we all understand how culture influences most aspects of our life.
Mr. Homoko says his Hela culture is one of the best in the country but slowly fading away. He adds that his culture needs to be promoted in both provincial and national level for tourism industry in the country.
My traditional is unique. We come to the world and they recognize Hela culture as a unique and first in the world. So we need to promote that culture to promote the tourism industry in Hela province and Papua New Guinea as well.
Alexis Sengi, National EMTV News.
Pipeline landowners in Kikori are concerned that audit by relevant oil and gas agencies is very slow and has delayed the release of benefits. They say equity benefits for 2017, 2018 and 2019 have been delayed. The affected clan agents have petitioned the state, including MRDC, with copies to Minister for Petroleum, the Southern Highlands and Gulf provincial governments. Over 50 clan leaders signed a 4-page petition outlining their grievances and purpose of concern. They want authorities to fast-track the audit and release the promised benefits according to the Oil and Gas Act.
Payments, we have come up with our petition to be considered. Upon submitting our petition regarding the delay, our demands concerning landowners to be paid, we will come up with alternatives, ideas, just to satisfy our frustration.
we are appealing to MRDC to fast track this audit. We are appealing to Southern's provincial government, Gulf provincial government, and various stakeholders so that they support us in our grievances to petition to MRDC so that they deliver our payments sooner. We are also calling on the Prime Minister, who is the sole shareholder of MRDC, on behalf of the government of Papua New Guinea, also to intervene so that MRDC does the right thing.
Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Number One Trophy House Limited has given a sponsorship boost of 5,000 kina worth of trophies and sporting equipment towards the IGA P Cup tournament. This is the second time NWTL comes on board as the major sponsor of the tournament.
Number One Trophy House Limited yesterday presented 5,000 kina worth of goods to the management of IGA Cup tournament. Area manager for NWTL, Paulo Luminted, stated this is part of the company's social obligations.
The group companies continue supporting sponsorship, especially those mommies that are engaged in sport, continuously engaged in sports right now. So we're happy and continue supporting, doing sponsorship.
Receiving the goods was Caroline Ganaya, a committee of the tournament.
Trophy House actually sponsored this, helped sponsor this tournament for the second time now. This would be the second time now, so we're very appreciative for their sponsor for this time around.
With less than a week to go before the tournament kicks off, the trophies are a timely presentation. To date, over 50 teams have registered for the games. Registrations indicate an increased interest in the men's division. The tournament is set for Hula Village in the Central Province and will run throughout the Queen's Birthday long weekend. Kilawani, Trukai Sports.
With the easing of restrictions recently, the cricket season is likely to get underway shortly, with various clubs going into preparation mode. Konepoti Cricket Club, which has been competing in the A-Reserve competition, received a timely donation from Kumu Petroleum Holdings Limited today at Amini Park grounds, where 26,000 kina worth of uniforms and cricket gear were presented. Konepoti Cricket Club was revived in 2019 to carry on the name and legacy of the club that their fathers started in the 1960s and 70s. The club is made up of players and members from the Kapari Viriolo area on the coastline of Abao district in Central Province. Coming from an area which is traditionally known for rugby, part of the club's ambition is to promote the sport of cricket in the area, as well as the rest of Abao district, given that cricket has been more popular among the Hula, Hudlagun and Motuan villages in Central Province.
What me and the club executives are trying to do this year is we're trying to actually have a tournament back in the village at the end of this year. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to involve the two teams from Kapari, two teams from Viriolo, two teams from ourselves here in Mosby, and then from our mother club, and hopefully Lalara if they're ready and able to do so. But that's part of what we're trying to do. We're trying to expose the game back in the village, and maybe in a few years' time, the whole of Abao. And what we're trying to do is, get boys out from there, find talent, bring them out, get them to play within the Port Moresby competition, and who knows, in the next few years, you could have a future Barramundi.
The club aims to also develop young players, given that the PNG Barramundis have qualified for the T20 World Cup, opening the way for greater opportunities for upcoming players. Today's 26,000 kina worth donation by Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited was welcomed by the club, which club president Puana Agi says is a morale booster.
I think to be elevated into the premier competition is you've got to win the competition from the A Reserve first before you have access to go up further. So that's our goal, and I think with the equipment that we have now, I think that's a boost for the players and an encouragement for the boys to at least try to win a premiership so that we can elevate ourselves into the Premier Division.
Board Director of Kumul Petroleum Holdings Limited, Dr. Ila Temu, presented the team uniforms and cricket gear, including bats, balls and batting pads. The team is expected to commence training next week for the upcoming POM CA cricket season. Trukai Sports continues with more from the 28th SP Sports Awards after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. We now cross back to Crown Hotel in downtown Port Moresby, where sports reporter Kila Wani is with tonight's SP Sports Awards guest speaker Takale Tuna.
Thank you, Dennis. Evening, viewers. Yes, we're back here at the Crown Hotel in the nation's capital, where the 28th SP Sports Award is about to go live in the next few minutes. As I mentioned earlier, a very special person here in the as a guest speaker here in this year's events, the prestigious SP Sports Awards guest speaker is a local Papua New Guinean former athlete, Takale Tuna. Takale, must be a memorable and honorable moment for you to be on such a prestigious platform.
Yeah, it's a great honor for me, especially when you are the first Papua New Guinean to do so after 28 years of the award. So yeah, a great honor.
Now, as the first indigenous speaker on this platform, you'll be speaking to a lot of nominees who are potential SP Sports Awards recipients. What's your message to the nominees?
I mean, to the nominees, you made the top 3. So, out of hundreds of nominations, so you're already a winner. So regardless of whether you win the award or not, you're already a winner. Especially for the juniors, you've already been identified as a talent for the future. So I would say congratulations to the top 3 of each category.
Now, as again an indigenous speaker on this platform, what is your opinion about these awards recognizing sporting elites here in the country?
Oh, I think it's a great award. As we know, our elite athletes put a lot of effort into training, mostly on a voluntary basis, and to recognize them for their hard work. Day in, day out, year in, year out, it's a great award. And not only the elite athletes themselves, but our volunteers as well, the administrators who run the sport. So, yeah, I think it's a great award. Running for 28 years, congratulations and a big thank you to SP Breweries for keeping it alive.
Now, of course, a challenging year for a lot of athletes, sporting as a whole in the country. Coming to recognize them must be a blessing in disguise for these nominees.
Yeah, I think it's been tough for most of our athletes, our sportsmen, sportswomen, especially at the elite level, where you need to prepare for peak fitness to compete, especially on a global stage. Our Barramandis, our Hunters, our Tokyo Olympics teams, they've found it hard. But, my message tonight will be that you are not alone. This is a worldwide pandemic, so you got to make use of whatever opportunity you have and try your very best to prepare yourself and be competitive on the competition, whether it's locally or internationally.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Takale Tuna, the guest speaker in the 28th SP Sports Awards. Historical moment for Papua New Guinea as well on this prestigious platform. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Kila. Kila there at the 28th SP Sports Awards at Crown Hotel in Port Moresby with the guest speaker Takale Tuna. That wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather report after these messages. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: Port Moresby mostly fine, Daru fine and windy, Kerema partly cloudy with early morning rain possible, Alotau and Popondetta cloudy periods.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for Saturday, the 29th of May 2021. Pleasant viewing, be safe, bye for now.